Listeners, NerdWallet wants you to let them do the work for you. Looking for auto insurance? The Nerds will match you with top providers in your area in just a few questions. So getting the right rate for you is as simple as going to nerdwallet.com. After all, letting NerdWallet do the work is more than smart. It's genius. Not all applicants will qualify for the lowest monthly payments. NerdWallet Insurance Services Incorporated. California resident license number OK92033. The Rachel Hollis Podcast is proudly sponsored by Amica Insurance. As Amica says, empathy is our best policy. That's why they'll go above and beyond to tailor your insurance coverage to best fit your needs. Whether you're on the road, at home, or traveling along life's journey, their friendly and knowledgeable representatives will work with you to ensure that you have the right coverage in place. Amica will provide you with peace of mind. Go to amica.com to get a quote today. I have this incredible blessing in that I get to do a job where I get to hear other humans tell me that something I said on a podcast or something I wrote in a book helped them to make change. And so I know it is possible for anyone to change. You guys would not believe the stories I have heard and the places people have found themselves in and gotten out of. So if I can hear those stories and the incredible mountains that people have climbed to heal themselves and to grow their business or heal their relationship, fix their family, do 10 years of therapy to get over the trauma, like I have heard the most amazing stories. I know it is possible for people to change, but they have to want it. They don't have to know how to get it, but they have to want it. And if she wants it, hell yeah. Fight for your friend. Hi, I'm Rachel, and in this show, we talk about everything. Life and work, health and healing, relationships with others and with ourselves. These are stories for the seekers. These are conversations for the curious. This is the Rachel Hollis Podcast. Hi guys, it's Rach. Welcome to another episode of Ask Rach. These are conversations where I answer listener questions. I've had a podcast hotline for probably 5 years now where people call in from all over the world and ask me anything. It ranges from hair questions to relationships, setting boundaries, trauma. Should they break up with this person? The answer is usually yes, if you're asking a random human on the internet, all kinds of things. And I play the voicemail for the first time when you're hearing it. So I don't prep these in advance. I don't even know what they say until you and I listen to it together so that my answers are off the cuff. It's just what intuitively makes sense to me. It's what I would tell you if we were sitting having coffee together. And I like to preface with that so that you know, just in case, I'm a random human that you do not know in real life. So if I say something that doesn't resonate with you, ignore it completely. If I say something that you dig, maybe use that as a little breadcrumb to follow the trail, find a book on it, go do some research, watch a YouTube video, take a deeper dive on that particular subject. For instance, I can see, because Jack puts the questions in a spreadsheet, and I can see the topic. So I don't know what people say, but I know roughly what it's going to be about. And a bunch of people, I don't know why, I must have mentioned it in a recent episode, are asking about batch work. In the last Ask Rach episode, or depending on the order, maybe it'll be the next Ask Rach episode, I answered for 20 minutes about how I batch my work, but I can see that a bunch of people are asking the same question. And I would just like to remind you, if you hear something, please always call in and ask. But if you hear something where you're like, man, that sounds like something that could really help me, let that be a signal to you to go do some research. Because any idea I'm sharing, I did not invent. I have invented nothing. I have spent the last 15 years of my life working on myself, trying to heal myself, trying to fix the problems in my life, the mistakes that I have made. And I have gotten those solutions by reading books, watching YouTube videos, listening to podcasts just like this one. So if you hear me say a term like batch work, I would literally go to YouTube and type that in. You'll be shocked at how many amazing videos you will get where creators and artists and entrepreneurs are explaining exactly how they lay out their calendar using that methodology. Just in case that hadn't occurred to you guys, I want to also make sure you feel empowered to go on your own journey. But if you have a question for me, please consider calling the podcast hotline. The number is 737-400-4626. Every once in a while, I'll do an ask on Instagram stories, which is like my hero platform. That's the one I use the most. And I'll be like, hey guys, do you have any questions that you're curious about? And actually today I'm going to pull in one of those DMs that I got on Instagram. So we get the questions from all over the place. I had a lady actually come to the book signing in New York, and she slipped me her Ask Rach question because she didn't want her voice on there. I'd like to remind you guys, you can always ask us to make the question anonymous. We can disguise your voice, which is super fun. So when you leave the voicemail, just tell us how you want it to be received, and we will happily follow your directions. I also feel like a lot of people change their name. I have this sneaking suspicion that people call and change their name because there's this moment that happens sometimes. We've been doing this for like 5 years. So there's this moment where they'll be like, hi, Rach, it's Sarah. And there's just a hesitation before they say the name. And I'm like, if that was your real name, wouldn't you just say it quickly? Anyway, also side note, if we're going to make up names, can we make up like fabulous, wild names? Like Regina Phalange. Like, come on, guys, give me some characters. Give me something to work with. You guys need to call in and be like, Rachel, it's Isadora. Like, give me some legit fake names. I would love that. Beyond fake names, I have to tell you guys too, at the book signings, it's been so amazing because having a new book come out means that for the first time in 6 years, I'm getting to talk to readers face to face. The last time I released a book was 2020. It was a pandemic. I couldn't do a tour. So I just haven't been able to meet with readers, and it has been so incredible. But the funniest thing is that we do a Q&A at the end of these sessions, and in every stop, a woman has stood up and they're like, hi, Rach, I don't know if you'll remember me. I am Ask Rach episode number 437 and da-da-da-da. And they'll tell me like where they are now, which I love. But I think it would be hilarious. I feel like we should start getting t-shirts made that say like, I'm Ask Rach episode number 262 or whatever your number is. Anyway, it's so dorky. Like only people in this community would find that maybe amusing. Let's answer some questions. This sounds intriguing. Let's see what she has to say.
Hey, Rachel. My name is Nico, and I have a question about boundaries and friendships, I guess. So I have this friend, and she's a really great person. She's fun to hang out with, but on a more fundamental level, when it comes to values and goals and motivations, we're very different. The worst part is that she's always very, very supportive and positive when it comes to me sharing about my struggles and me working on my goals and dreams. But when the conversation circles back to her, she's always negative and kind of like stuck in a place where all she does is complain and not move forward like at all. Like all she wants to do is just sit in her misery. And I feel like that has become sort of her comfort zone that she's really, really uninterested in getting out of. And I want to be there for her. Like I listen to her and I really do want to help her, but also I feel like sometimes being around her drains my energy. And I feel selfish and I feel like a horrible friend because sometimes I kind of want to just grab her by the shoulders and shake her and give her some tough love, which I know she won't respond well to. But I guess my question is it worth keeping people close to us who are so like vastly different than us, but who we know are good people and they're worth fighting for, I guess. I don't know. And if yes, like if the answer is yes, how do we do that? How do we keep being there for them, but helping them see that they need to move forward, not just sit stuck and they need to apply their own advice that they give to other people. That is wonderful advice and support also. Anyway, that's it. Thank you for all you do. I love your podcast. I adore your new book. I'm like halfway through, but yes, thank you. Bye.
This is such a good question. And I think a lot of people listening probably can find someone in their life like this. I certainly can. As you were talking, I was thinking of a family member I have that's very similar to this. Here's my gut response. If you had told me that she was negative in all areas, I would be like, cut her loose. Ain't nobody got time for an energy vampire. I actually don't think that your friend is an energy vampire because she's not, it doesn't sound like anyway, she's not draining you on purpose. She actually sounds more like she's operating at a very low vibrational level. She's sort of like a vacuum of good time. She's like a Debbie Downer. She's always really low. And so it would be very easy to get pulled into that vortex with her. An energy vampire is someone, I mean, if you even just think about the term vampire, like they are intently sucking energy. They're like getting life from however they're taking that energy from you. So I actually don't think, based on what you just said, that she is an energy vampire. She sounds like someone who is stuck in a rut, exactly like you mentioned. I don't think you should cut her loose because you said that she is so supportive and enthusiastic and kind to you. That's a good friend. You said she's fun to hang out with. She's really supportive. She listens to me. She does all. That's a good friend. Those people are hard to find. So if she can be a good friend to you, you can be a good friend to her. And it sounds hilarious, but I heard this thing years ago, this idea that in a marriage, there will be seasons where one of you is really struggling and the other person is doing well. And in those seasons, the person who is doing well and has the energy, they're meant to walk along beside. Sometimes they're meant to carry. They're meant to go in parallel paths with this person who's having a hard time. And you do that because you're investing in a future scenario where the tables have turned, where you're in your hard season, where you're really going through something and you need that shoulder to cry on and you need someone to lean on and someone to be your strength. And I think you should tell your friend exactly what you just told me. I think that you should sit down very seriously, like in a way that she can really receive it. And you say, I love you so much. I see so much potential in you. I think you are so amazing. And I think you are stuck in a rut of negativity. And I would like to help you move away from that. But I cannot drown with you. I cannot sit here as your friend and hear you talk about the same thing over and over and over because you're reinforcing the narrative. Every time you tell yourself the same story, anytime you're like, I'm not very good at that, or I always do this thing, or anytime you use the words I am and then follow it with something negative, you are creating more of the thing you do not want. I am are divine words. In the Bible, God says, I am. Be still and know that I am. So Wayne Dyer says, anytime you say the words I am, you better follow it with something that is the best version of you. I am kind. I am gracious. I am learning. I am growing. I am something. But you tell her, I can't watch you continue to dig yourself deeper in this hole. I love you too much to watch you dig yourself deeper into this hole. And see how she responds. Maybe she gets offended and she's like, screw you. Like, how dare you say that to me? Okay, well then she made the decision for you. Or maybe she says, well, I want to do that, but I don't know. And you got, nope, snap out of that. we're not even going to go down that road because that's the road you're on. We're now taking a shift and heading in the direction of looking for things that are positive, looking for solutions, affirming what we want in this life, not what we feel like we currently have. Like, there are so many practical techniques, hacks, habits that she can develop, that we can all develop, that will help her head in the other direction. But she also has to want it, which is the other thing. Someone might not have the courage to tell you straight up that they're not going to change, but she might say, yeah, I would love that. I would love that. But then her actions never align with it. Again, she's making the decision for you. I think that you need to be her coach right now, not her cheerleader, and see how she responds. You have to at least try. And then once you've thrown the ball to her, we'll see what she does with it. But yeah, I don't think when someone's a good person, they're being a supportive friend, but it sounds like she probably has some depression. It sounds like she's stuck in a negative feedback loop that she can't get out of. I think that maybe she needs to hear someone say, I love you enough to fight for you. I love you enough to want you to be better. And I am going to tell you everything that I know. And maybe we start a book club, or maybe we go to a conference together, or I'm going to send you some of my favorite podcasts. And like, I know that you can change your life for the better because there's so many examples of people who have done it. But yeah, we got to fight for the good ones. We got to fight for the good ones. If someone's just straight up toxic, if you feel like they actually want to cause you harm, cut them loose. Don't even look back. Lot's wife. You know what I'm saying? Just keep heading in the direction that you're heading. But yeah, if someone's been there for you, they've been a really good friend, but they're not at your level, it doesn't mean that they can't be. I have this incredible blessing in that I get to do a job where I get to hear other humans tell me that something I said on a podcast or something I wrote in a book helped them to make change. And so I know it is possible for anyone to change. You guys would not believe the stories I have heard and the places people have found themselves in and gotten out of. So if I can hear those stories and the incredible mountains that people have climbed to heal themselves and to grow their business or heal their relationship, fix their family, do 10 years of therapy to get over the trauma, like, I have heard the most amazing stories. I know it is possible for people to change, but they have to want it. They don't have to know how to get it, but they have to want it. And if she wants it, hell yeah, fight for your friend. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. There's so many fun memes on social media, so many conversations about things like red flags, beige flags, but what about green flags? Meaning, what about understanding and unpacking what would really matter to you in a relationship? Not just with a romantic partner, but also with your friends. Whether you're dating, married, building a friendship, or just working on yourself, it's time to form relationships that love you back. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable and convenient. They serve over 5 million people worldwide. They have access to a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists with a wide range of specialties. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/Rach to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Rach. Coming into the new year, it was time for a big reset for our family. We had so much fun over the holidays and we indulged in sugar and all the stuff we normally wouldn't have, which is why I love coming back into a routine with Thrive Market. Thrive Market lets you easily find trusted, family-friendly brands and shop based on your needs. So things like low sugar or gluten-free, organic or high protein, you can filter them without the hassle of grocery store trips. Plus, with the Healthy Swap scanner in the app, you can scan a product you already buy and get instant recommendations for cleaner, healthier alternatives. Ready for a junk-free start to 2025? Head to thrivemarket.com/Rach and you'll get 30% off your first order plus a free $60 gift. That's THRIVE market.com/Rach. thrivemarket.com/Rach. Ooh, this sounds interesting. I think I say that about every voicemail.
Hi, Rachel. This is London. I have been listening to your podcast forever. I love it. I guess my question for you is I have really mastered my morning routine, and I know that's something that everyone talks about, but what I don't have is an afternoon routine. I tend to almost feel like I'm too tired to do anything, so then I make dinner, and then nothing happens after that. I'm a mom. I have 2 kids. I have a husband. I work a 9 to 5 essentially. And I work out in the morning. I do all of my morning journaling, reading, all of that stuff in the morning time before my kids get up for the bus. But what I would like to do is really start on my dream in the afternoon, and I just would like some tips, some encouragement of what you do really to that slump when you've already kind of, it's not that I'm not doing enough, I want to do more. Yeah, have a great day. Bye.
London, have you had your hormones checked? I know this is not what you thought I was going to say. You thought that I was going to say, oh, push harder, like do these things, believe in yourself, have motivation. But when we are experiencing being super tired or feeling like we're in that slump, and there's not really a reason that we should be, we need to have blood work done. Period. Full stop. You need to have your hormones checked. Maybe you need to have your thyroid checked. You need to see what's going on inside of you, because my instinct is that this could be something physically this is not lack of motivation. This is not, oh, you didn't have enough willpower to push through. And I'm saying this as someone who is, you know me, if you've hung out with me for a while, one of the most motivated people you will ever meet. But I hit a period in 2021 where I was just exhausted, so physically exhausted. And I kept trying to push and push and push, and my body just could not do it. And of course, then I finally had blood work done. I found out my hormones were whacked, adrenal fatigue, just everything that you could imagine I was experiencing. And I have spent so many years learning how to get my body to function normally again. And it has literally taken years. I had to balance my hormones. Later, I was feeling extreme fatigue because I was super anemic and didn't know it. And then probably about a year ago, I noticed that I was really relying on coffee. And yes, I know I have a lot of coffee, but like if that's my vice in this world, just like let me live. But I was having a lot of coffee and I was kind of sneaking more than I should. Like if I'm trying to have a coffee in the early afternoon, I'm making bad choices because I'm not going to go to sleep the way that I need to. Anyway, I noticed that I was like, man, but if I don't have this coffee, I will not have the energy to make the kids dinner. Like that's the state we were in. And I had blood work done again. And a lot of the stuff that I had solved for was doing great. And I found out that I had, I'm going to say this wrong, but essentially my DHEA levels were really off. And I'm going to say such bad science right now because I really don't know what I'm talking about. You could Google this or talk to your doctor. That makes way more sense. But the way I understand it, which is loosely, but your DHEA level is what helps you wake up in the morning. And in the morning, it's the highest that it should be. and then it slowly falls throughout the day so that by the time it's nighttime and you're ready to go to sleep, those levels are low so you're able to fall asleep quickly. I think I just told you that correctly. My DHEA levels were whacked. They were super low. I didn't have enough of it, I guess, ? And it was spiking at the wrong time of day. My naturopath doctor, Dr. Brush, we love her, got me on DHEA. It's a supplement that you can take, and it's maybe my favorite thing that has happened in the last 5 years, other than meeting my husband. Like, I just, oh my gosh, I love DHEA. Oh my gosh, I'm so grateful for it. How she described it to me was, I got a bottle. I'm like, I'm not prescribing this to you. Please talk to a doctor, but I'm just telling you what helped. The DHEA comes in 5 milligrams. And she said, so for the next week, I want you to take 1 of these in the morning. And then the week after that, I want you to take 2 in the morning. And the week after that, I want you to take 3. And she was like, people can get all the way up to 30 milligrams a day. But she said, if you ever get to a point where you've taken DHEA and you feel like you want to murder everyone, you've taken too much. So go back down 5 milligrams. So I take 15 milligrams of DHEA every day. I know I use the term life-changing a lot, but that one changed my life because my sustained energy for the rest of the day is so freaking awesome. I just truly forgot what it felt like to have energy all day and to be awake all day. I didn't realize how many years I was getting to 4 p.m. and just feeling brutalized. Like the idea of going in and making dinner for the kids was just, I mean, how in the world am I going to do that? I don't have the capacity. And I started taking this supplement and yeah. So anyway, something like that. Maybe you talk to your doctor about it. Definitely have blood work done. The other flip side that I'm going to ask you about is, are you getting enough sleep and are you getting quality sleep every single day? It's so essential. And if you guys don't know this, sleep is like a bank, meaning you can't sleep for 5 hours one night and then on the weekend sleep like 2 extra hours and have made up for the night you only got 5 hours. You're in a deficit when you don't sleep for 8 hours. And in fact, women should be sleeping for 9 hours, I think the latest study is saying. And when you're on your period, they're saying it should be like 10. So sleep is so essential for every single particle of your being. And if you're not getting enough sleep and if you're not getting good sleep, that could also contribute to why you don't have enough energy in the day. Another thing that could be happening is nutritionally, you could be spiking your insulin levels. Like if you're having things that have sugar, and that can come in a lot of different forms, if that's popping all day long, spiking, dropping, like insulin levels are going up and down, super awful for energy. Definitely do a little research about that. And there's really simple changes you can make to your diet. And I say diet not in a restrictive way, but like have more fats, eat your greens first. Like there's hacks that you can use to make sure that your insulin levels don't spike, which will help with energy. So there's a bunch of different things that you can do. But my instinct to tell you, London, is that this is not a motivational thing. This is like you need to see what's going on with your body. Anybody who has had kids and hasn't had blood work, and I don't care how old your kids are, if you have had children and you haven't done blood work to see where your levels are on all the things, and you can afford that, you need to do that immediately. You need to find preferably a naturopath doctor, but specifically a doctor who specializes in female patients, and you need to have a full panel done if you can afford it, and you need to see where you're at. In fact, Dr. Taz says that we should be doing blood work every 6 months. I will admit that I do not do it that often, but every time I do it, I find out something new. Like, okay, these levels went back up, but this is pretty low. And that's really helpful for me because it's always just like a very simple thing I can do. My B levels were really low the last time I had labs done, and that's so easy to fix. And I also started incorporating a little dairy back into my life. because that's a big way to get Bs. If you can get your vitamins and minerals and good stuff from the food you eat, that's way better and more effective than taking a supplement. My Bs were low, so I started taking B12, and I also started incorporating a little dairy, and it's like so fast. It's so crazy how fast you feel better. And I had avoided dairy for a really long time. Sorry, we're just getting deep into my hormones and my food. I had avoided dairy for a really long time because it makes me break out. But I've noticed if I just avoid it when I'm close to my period, it doesn't seem to be a problem. And it's making me feel better. And I just love cheese. So thank you, Lord. So yeah, those are my thoughts, is make sure that you have your hormones checked. Make sure you figure out what's going on in there. And I bet you'll start to feel better. And if you do that and you do feel better, will you call and let us know? Give us a praise report. Yeah, if you have had me answer an Ask Rach question and it has been helpful, like you've seen some great progress. When I was growing up in church, we had these old ladies and they would stand up and they would do a prayer request. They'd ask the congregation to pray for something, or they give a praise report. And a praise report was like, let me tell you how the Lord is moving in my life this week. If something that you have learned here has been helpful, oh my gosh, we'd love a praise report.
Are you still quoting 30-year-old movies? Have you said cool beans in the past 90 days? Do you think Discover isn't widely accepted? If this sounds like you, you're stuck in the past. Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. And every time you make a purchase with your card, you automatically earn cash back. Welcome to the now. It pays to Discover. Learn more at discover.com/credit card based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Hi, I'm Katie Nolan from the internet and cable TV, or as your mom called me, that sports gal from Celebrity Jeopardy. I have a new podcast called Casuals. It's a podcast for people who like sports a normal amount. No stats or spreadsheets, nary an X or O to be found. Just laid back, casual banter about home runs, hockey fights, and good old-fashioned drama. Casuals is a twice-a-week hang with me and my friends from across comedy, sports, and entertainment, where we talk about all the funny, weird, interesting stuff happening in and around the world of sports. Think of it as all the best things about sports with none of the homework. So whether you're a diehard fan or vaguely sports curious, Casuals is the podcast for you. You can find Casuals on the SiriusXM app, Pandora, or wherever you get your podcasts. And don't forget to smash that follow button. That way you'll never miss an episode. Just try it. You can always unsmash it.
I promised you guys I was going to answer this question that I got on DM from Instagram. I hope you follow me there at Ms. Rachel Hollis. Let's be besties. She says, how to stay when last year I set goals, manifested, vision board, and nothing worked out. I assume that she means how to stay with it, how to keep this belief alive when it didn't go the way that you thought it would. I first want to acknowledge that that's really hard. I think any of us who are dreamers, who are working on goals, any of us who've ever built a business or a side hustle can speak to the fact that that is really hard. We've all experienced some measure of this, so you are not alone. I sometimes think that God or the universe or whatever it is that you believe in, something bigger than you, I sometimes think that it purposely puts obstacles in our path to force us to become great enough to take on the dream. You say that you want this thing and you want to do this stuff over here and you want to achieve these goals. And God, in her infinite wisdom, is like, okay. And this thing happens and this thing happens and this thing happens. And the natural human response when we encounter these blockages in our path is to feel discouraged, is to feel beat up, is to feel like life's out to get us, or to assume that this was never meant for us anyway. And I like to think that God is up there or here or wherever she hangs out. The universe is looking down and they're like, wait, no. You said that you wanted to climb that mountain. You told me you wanted to climb that mountain, so I put obstacles in your path that would make you strong enough for the ascent. You said you wanted to get to the summit. If you want to be strong enough for the summit, you've got to be able to survive this valley. I grew up in the Christian tradition, and there is a scripture that says, "Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death." And people always miss that word through. Yea, though I walk through the valley. Yes, this is hard. And yes, this feels like hell. And yes, this is the valley of the shadow of death. But you were not meant to die here. You were not meant to stop here. You were not meant to quit. You were meant to walk through it. Because on the other side is the base of this mountain you say you want to climb. So don't be discouraged. Look at this as an opportunity to learn and grow from what did not work in 2024. Have the courage to look at what did not work and have the courage to admit why. Why didn't it work? Did I get distracted? Did I chase the wrong thing? Did I do too much? Did I partner with the wrong people? Did I say I was working on it, but I wasn't really working on it? Do I not really know what I'm doing? Maybe I need to take some classes. Maybe I need to go to a conference. Is there someone who is successful at this in the way that I want to be successful at this? Could I potentially model their behavior? Do they have a book or a course that I could buy and take on more information? There are 1,000 ways to figure out what you did wrong so that you know how to do the next year right. But don't you dare give up on the dream because it's hard. It is always going to be hard. It's always going to be hard. Even when you get to the mountain, climbing the mountain is going to be hard. And when you get to the top of the mountain, the altitude's going to be hard. And when you're up there on the top of this mountain that we think is made up of success, but is actually just a pile of failures that we're standing on top of instead of underneath, on top of that mountain, you're going to see a taller mountain. And every single pace along the way is going to be challenging. And every time you try and level up your life in any way, you are going to encounter more obstacles. It's when you figure out how to get over that, how to get around it, how to tunnel under it, how to break through it, the figuring out of that thing, that's how you become strong enough to pull it off. So don't give up. Keep going. I know it feels lonely. Any of us who are working on the hard things, it feels lonely. But we're all here. We just can't see each other because we're all climbing different mountains. But there is a whole community, millions of people all over the world who are trying to make their lives better and feel like it's impossible. So why don't you keep going? And why don't you achieve it? So you can turn around to the next girl or the next guy, or the next friend, or the next student, and hold up the lantern so it's easier for them to walk down the same path. All right, guys. If you have any questions for me that you'd like me to answer, you can call into hotline at 737-400-4626. I will be back soon with more conversation. Until then, as always, I love you, and I'm rooting for you. The Rachel Hollis Podcast is produced by me, Rachel Hollis. It's edited by Andrew Weller and Jack Noble.
Hi, I'm Katie Nolan from the internet and cable TV, or as your mom called me, that sports gal from Celebrity Jeopardy. I have a new podcast called Casuals. It's a podcast for people who like sports a normal amount. No stats or spreadsheets, nary an X or O to be found. Just laid back, casual banter about home runs, hockey fights, and good old-fashioned drama. Casuals is a twice-a-week hang with me and my friends from across comedy, sports, and entertainment, where we talk about all the funny, weird, interesting stuff happening in and around the world of sports. Think of it as all the best things about sports with none of the homework. So whether you're a die-hard fan or vaguely sports curious, Casuals is the podcast for you. You can find Casuals on the SiriusXM app, Pandora, or wherever you get your podcasts. And don't forget to smash that follow button. That way you'll never miss an episode. Just try it. You can always unsmash it.